Hello everyone. A very good day to all of you. I am Dr. R. Sridhar from Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Katamkulattur. I am very happy indeed to meet you all in yet another video session with respect to power electronics. In this video session, let us see about silicon controlled rectifiers turn on schemes. So silicon controlled rectifiers, say SCR, necessarily consist of 5 turn-on schemes to make sure that the SCR has a transition from the forward blocking state to the forward conducting state. Let us get into today's session. Before seeing my PPT, let me briefly explain these triggering schemes in, in a nutshell. So SCR, as such, the basics of SCR is a three-terminal device: anode, cathode, and gate. And when I draw the layer diagram of SCR necessarily a four layered three-terminal and three junction device. Fine. The condition for SCR to turn on is SCR need to be given SCR needs to be given forward biased, and then also another condition, the anode to cathode current of SCR should be greater than that of its latching current. Fine. With this background knowledge, let us get into the triggering scheme one by one. So one is the forward voltage triggering. So in this methodology of triggering, what we are trying to do is we are trying to increase the voltage applied across the forward bias voltage applied across the SCR V VAK VAK. When we do so, what happens is this is anode and this is cathode gate. So if you keenly watch this one, when you apply a forward bias, the junction J1 and J3 are forward bias, and J2 is reverse bias, right? Which is having a depletion layer. So all we need to do is, when this voltage VAK is increased, keep on increasing, then the depletion width deteriorates. At some point of time, the junction J2 experiences a rupture, and because of that, there is a current flow through this. Fine. So the condition is, as VAK keeps on increasing, at some point of time, it reaches the breakover voltage, VBO. Once it reaches breakover voltage, the SCR is conducting. So this is current, this is voltage. So at this point, we can mean that as VBO. That's fine. So, but the always it is not advisable to make sure that SCR has a transition from breakover to conducting state, because every time you need to bring this voltage VAK nearer to your break-on voltage, which may damage is possible. So in forward voltage triggering, this is a straight forward method of increasing your anode to cathode voltage without application of any gate. Here gate current can be zero. Right? Gate voltage is also zero. So when you do not apply any voltage, the current is zero. So when you keep on increasing this VAK, then that is called forward voltage triggering. Next scheme is temperature triggering. We know that the junction J2 is reverse bias. When you increase the temperature near the junction J2, because of this thermal noise or temperature, the conductivity of the charge carriers nearer the depletion layer will increase. Because of that, the J2 gets ruptured. Once it is, the depletion width gets negated, your conduction flows. So conduction is there. So we know that as the temperature is directly proportional to the thermal conductivity, as you increase this, the SCR is pushed into the forward bias. Next one is the light triggering. Light triggering, or sometimes this SCR is called as light activated silicon controlled rectifier. So it can be used in places where the gate triggering is not, is not accessible. You can have, with respect to your proximity, you can have a triggering. That's why it is called as light activated SCR. So all we need to do is we need to make sure that in the junction J2, which is the reverse bias, there is formed a niche through which we pass on light. As these light consist of photons, the energy in the photons is acquired by the charge carriers in the J2 junction. Because of that, the conductivity improves and the depletion width gets ruptured. So that is what called light activated SCR. The fourth scheme is the interesting one, which is called as dV by dt triggering. So when you closely look on the SCR, junction J1, and then again junction J2 is open, junction J3 is forward bias, it is closed. So if you closely see this, you can understand there is a virtual capacitance in the junction J2. So this capacitance, so the current through this is nothing but IC. This capacitance can be written as dq by dt, this current. So Q, we know that it is CV, so I can write C into dV by dt plus V into dC by dt. So there is no change in the capacitance value, so I can relate this to 0. So we understand that IC is equal to C into dV by dt. So IC is nothing but dq by dt. Q is equal to CV. That's why I'm writing a VDU formula. By doing so, I extract an expression with respect to IC and capacitance with change in certain voltage. So when your dV by dt, when dV by dt is suddenly rising, there is a chance for your IC to rise. So this IC is nothing but IAK, IA. So when your IC or IA is greater than that of your latching current, definitely. So when IC is greater than your latching current, definitely there is a conduction. So this is a method called dV by dt, but as such, this is not that advisable, because every time when you have sudden rise in voltage, there is a chance for triggering which is not decided at times. So somewhere or other, it is called as pseudo triggering. The last but not the least mode of triggering is called as gate triggering. In this method, we are going to give a gate voltage. A gate voltage is given for the ACR. So you can give a gate voltage, a positive voltage here with respect to VA, VGK. Yes, this is gate. This is cathode, negative, VGK. So this is VGK. So as your VGK increases, your current through gate IG increases. So this current IG quickly ruptures, quickly make your the reverse biased depletion width to go less. By doing so, we can uh, break this depletion layer J2 as quick as possible. So more the IG, okay, lesser the breakover voltage, or sooner the break down or conduction breakdown of ACR, or lesser the breakover voltage of VBO. That's why in characteristics, you people would have remembering, it comes like this. So for more IG value, the breakover voltage occurs even prior. So these are all the schemes of triggering. We can quickly see the PPT so that we will easily understand what we have in the PPT. So this is, as such, this is the PowerPoint we have. So as I told you, in the turn on mechanism, we have 5 types of schemes. One is forward voltage triggering, temperature triggering, light triggering, dV by dt triggering, and the gate triggering. So triggering, as you know, that it is a mode of turning on, right? In forward voltage triggering, the takeaway point is, as your VAK is increased at a particular voltage called VBO, the junction J2 undergoes an avalanche breakdown. So as the current flows, and the device tends to turn on. You please see the last point. That is the takeaway point from here. As your VAK increases above the breakover voltage, SCR conducts. In thermal or temperature triggering, we know that by increasing the junction temperature, the reverse bias junction collapses. This is the takeaway point. The bottom line point is, by increasing the junction temperature, the reverse bias junction collapses. Thus, the device starts to conduct. So this is what called temperature triggering. Next is these light activated SCR or light triggering. So when intensity of light becomes more than the normal value, the stylist starts conducting. So when a light is allowed to strike in this terminal, free charge carriers are generated because it acquires energy from the photons of the light. That is the important takeaway point from light triggering. Next is dV by dt triggering. All you need to remember is the junction J2 is like a capacitor. Because of this, there is a capacitance effect, and the current through capacitance, we know that IC is equal to dq by dt. Instead of Q, you can substitute CV, and then you can write VDU formula, and you infer that IC is equal to C into dV by dt. So when there is a sudden increase in dV by dt, change in voltage, definitely there is a chance for increase in IC, which may go above the latching current, and your SCR can conduct. This is one way of triggering on your SCR, but it is not that advisable way, because there is always a chance for pseudo triggering. Next is the very important is gate triggering. This is most widely used SCR triggering mechanism. So when a positive voltage is applied at the gate terminal, charge carriers are injected in the inner P layer, thereby reducing the depletion layer thickness. So the applied voltage increases, the carrier injection increases. And very importantly, it is sufficient that you give a triggering pulse, right? You can give a continuous pulse also for an SCR, but it is not required, because SCR, once it turns on, it remains in on state, right? Even if you remove the pulse, that is the peculiar characteristic of SCR. To make sure the SCR turns off, we have other commutation scheme, either natural commutation or forced commutation. So this is what all I have for you with respect to the on mechanism of SCR. Thank you, my dear students. We'll meet in at another video sooner. Thank you all.